Dr. Shaw here, and welcome to another episode on Teaching Humanity Remotely. Today I just want to talk straight. Most of the time we can have excuses for things. The reason we have excuses for things, if we really chunk that to the smallest level, is because we have preferences. So for example, I can excuse inappropriate behavior and I'm judging behavior inappropriately because I have a sense of what is right and wrong. I have a sense of what I like and dislike. I am always assigning meaning to things instead of just letting things be exactly as they are. It's vanilla because it's vanilla. But that's not how I live. It's vanilla and I like vanilla and I don't like chocolate and so on and so forth. So I'm just wondering, what would life be like if we didn't have preferences? Now, here's my point. I have a friend. Many of these podcasts, as you know, is based on my conversations with this friend. And she has a daughter, and that daughter treats her terribly. They live together. The daughter's like 24 years old, not a youngster. And the daughter's really disrespectful. But the daughter's really successful in the world. When she's on her job, she does what she's supposed to do. She can take orders from her boss. But when she's at home, she is very defiant. And so my friend says, oh, well, she has a condition. It's a kind of autism where you can't be told what to do because you feel like it's invading your personal space. Now, here's my story about that. That might be true, but she's 24 years old, this daughter, and she's successful in the world. So that gives me some clues. It tells me that in the world, she has strategies to be successful. Let's say I am dyslexic, but I want to learn how to read. I am going to have to work harder. I'm going to have to learn different strategies in order to learn how to read. I'm going to have to compensate for my disableness in my dyslexia. I'm going to have to compensate. So I'm not denying that this 24-year-old may have a certain condition that makes it hard for her, and somewhere in the world she needs to be able to take that out breath and not always have to work so hard on the strategies that are helping her be successful in coping in the world. But it does not give her permission to be disrespectful to her mother and treat her mother horribly. It does not. So my point is that when I was a teacher of young children and I taught children who had autism and other conditions, labeling conditions, I don't like to call them disabilities. I like to call them different abilities. A strength of mine is I could tell when the child was really being challenged based on their different ability. I could tell whether it was that or whether it was learned behavior that wasn't appropriate, that was taught because of us giving into the child who had this different ability. I could tell that. And so if it was learned behavior, I could be, let's say, more strict and less able to tolerate that inappropriate behavior. But if it was based on the condition, then it was my job to give that child strategies to learn how to cope. So all I'm saying is that we are not doing anyone any favors by allowing children to be indulged by what is really inappropriate. If we want our young children to grow up and be respectful to other people in the world, if we want them to have certain values that make them have humanity at their best, if we want that, that needs to be taught. And if we give them excuses because they're differently abled, we do a real disservice. We all need to learn strategies to cope. In some ways, we're all differently able. So we need to be able to learn how to be most successful in the world. So let's keep our eye on the ball. The eye on the ball is to be successful in the world. And no matter what your condition is, being respectful to others is going to help you be successful. So if you can do it in one environment, you need to be able to do it in another environment. And the person who's not tolerating it needs to learn how to have self-worth and say, this is unacceptable. And that doesn't mean you don't have your outbreaths. You can go into your room and you can punch a pillow. There are strategies, but it doesn't mean that you can be so disrespectful to me. So what I'm saying is that sometimes by being taken by a label, we allow the label to dictate how we are in the world, how we treat each other in the world, how we're perceived in the world. And I say, if that label and the way in which we function based on the label is not in our best interest, is not helping us to promote our best selves, then no matter what the label is, we have to overcome it. For example, I'm cross-eyed. I have a difficult time in having both my eyes see something at the same time. What I have to do is that I see what I see separately out of each eye, and then my brain has to put that together. So I know that I have slow reaction time. So I never drive in traffic. I never drive where it's dangerous to drive because I know that I'm not a good driver. I have a condition. I'm differently abled, and I compensate for it. And I make sure I don't put myself in harm's way, and then I don't put anyone else in harm's way. So all I am saying is that let's be mindful, and let's not be stuck on a label that limits us and that makes us perceive people in a way that lets them get away without being their best selves. We're still here to be our best selves. If we all could ingest the fact that we're all differently able and we still want to be successful in the world, and no one should treat someone with disrespect or badly and be angry at someone, and there still needs to be accountability. And then what we do is we help that person overcome what was a limitation that is no longer a limitation. So I really feel like I wanted to address this because it's important, because especially in the world where we have so many labels for different things and we do so many things to kind of enable our labels to define us. Let's see if we can change that. Let's see if we can have a condition and still really be successful in the world, because we really have learned strategies, tools to help us that allow us to accommodate who we are with our limitations and also overcome our limitations based on who we are, because we have strategies and good teaching and we're being held accountable. Because we don't want to limit ourselves by old story or perception that doesn't have to be true. We can constantly be creating new stories for ourselves and allow ourselves and give ourselves invitations to have new ways of being in the world. So my point is that if we feel like we're not successful, what can I do to change it? It doesn't matter if it's good or bad or not good or great or sad or happy. That to me doesn't matter. What matters is if I'm not satisfied, what do I need to do to get satisfied? If I see that I'm always angry, how do I change that behavior? Because it's not helping me to be disrespectful to my mother. That's not helping. So instead of allowing me to stay down because I have this label on me, how are you going to teach me strategies so I can overcome that and feel like I am more at my best in the world? Until next time, please let me know if this resonates with you at learnwithmeremotely@gmail.com. Thank you and be well.